If you have a green card, you're a permanent resident of the United States, and your green card expires in 2 years, what can you do if you are stuck in a bad marriage relationship? That's the question that I'm going to explore today. My name is Josh Goldstein. I'm an immigration lawyer in Los Angeles, and I help people across the country and around the world get green cards and work visas and citizenship through naturalization and many other types of immigration benefits. I was contacted recently by a woman who is in a very, very difficult situation. She came to the U.S. from her home country as a conditional resident. That means her green card expires at the end of a 2-year period, and things are not going well for her. Her marriage relationship is bad. It's worse than bad. It's abusive, and it's a dangerous situation for her. And she came to me seeking my advice about how to make sure that she preserves her green card. So the first thing I want to tell you is that you need to be safe. It doesn't matter if you can keep your green card if your life is threatened. So there are resources out there for victims of domestic violence. And that's a situation we're in right now. When a relationship turns abusive and threatening and manipulative and extremely unhealthy, this is abuse, and it's domestic violence. And you need to stay safe. So if you go online and you look for domestic violence resources in your area, you're going to find hotlines and shelters and counselors and people you can access online or by phone. And you can avail yourself of tools with law enforcement, so you can contact the police and things like that. But your first step should be to talk to people who specialize in domestic violence, counselors and organizations and advocates that can tell you what you need to know and the steps that you need to take to keep safe. I can help you keep your green card, but you need to remain safe throughout the process. And these agencies are really good at that, and they know what they're doing. And I would look for someone locally. So Google domestic violence resources, and then whatever area you're in. Now, with respect to the green card, if your husband is threatening you, if you don't do this, I'm going to get you deported. You're going to have to leave the country, and is making all sorts of threats like that. That is a very, very scary thing, because you need to make sure that you can protect your green card. And your husband cannot get you deported simply by calling immigration. So I want you to disregard any threats that he's made to you. The things that you need to remember about keeping your green card, you really need to do 2 things and 2 things only. First, so by way of background, at the end, your green card expires in 2 years. During the 90-day period before your green card expires, you need to file Form I-751. It's a petition to remove conditions on residency. And ordinarily, you have to file that together with your spouse. But if the relationship is abusive, you can file it on your own as a self-petition. And to do that, you need to show 2 things. First, you need to show that there was abuse or extreme hardship or cruelty. You need to explain what was going on in terms of the abuse. And second, you have to prove that the marriage was entered into in good faith, that there was a real and genuine relationship there. You lived with him, you shared your life with him as husband and wife, and that maybe you had joint financial relationships. Maybe there are photos showing the 2 of you together, things like that. So those are the 2 things you need to prove. But the way that I recommend you do the case instead is you do it based on divorce, because if your relationship is abusive, you definitely should get a divorce, right? So you need to get a divorce anyway. Once you get a divorce, then you have met one of the 2 prongs that you need to keep your green card. So if you can get a divorce and show that the marriage was entered into in good faith, you don't have to prove the abuse. Of course, the abuse is part of your story. It's part of what happened. You're going to need to get into all that. But it's much easier to prove that that your marriage ended in divorce than it is to prove abuse. To prove that you got a divorce, all you have to do is show a copy of the divorce decree from the court. To prove that you were abused, Well, that's hard to do, and it's not the right way to do the case, in my opinion, even where there is abuse. It's much easier and better to get a divorce. So the two things that I recommend that you do to preserve your green card are, number one, collect all the evidence that you need to prove that your marriage was entered into in good faith. That would be things like photos, joint financial bills, proof that you live together, proof that you filed your taxes together, that you had a wedding together, that you traveled together, that you lived together, proof that you were together with him. And the second thing is you should start getting a divorce. The divorce process usually takes a long time, and you need to do that. If your husband tries to end the marriage through an annulment process in state court, then the annulment will seriously mess up your chances of getting a green card, because then the state court will be saying that the marriage was entered into based on fraud or something like that. So you need a divorce, and you need proof that the marriage was entered into in good faith. There's one other tip that I want to share with you, which I think is really important, is that as soon as you move out and you no longer live with your husband, you should file a change of address with USCIS. You can do that online. The form is called an AR11. So as a permanent resident, within 5 days of moving, you have an obligation to notify USCIS of your change of address, and that's really important. Those are my tips for you. Stay safe, be well. I'm here to help. If there's anything I can do, message me, call me, email me, get in touch with me. I'm here to help you. You don't have to fight this alone. Good luck and take care.